Okay, welcome to the magic of feminine communication Playshop. Thank you so much for being here live in this moment here with me, or if you're watching the replay, I am welcoming you and bringing you into this present moment with me throughout all time and space that is infinite. So as we drop in, I would love to get connected with everyone who is here in this moment and really feel each other. So as I was saying, if you can come off or come on the video so I can see you. I see so many of your lovely faces right now. Yay. And I would love to know really, how are you feeling today? Today is going to be a lot about connecting to our bodies, connecting to our feelings and our emotions. So let's just start with a little self-scan and check. How are you feeling? Asking yourself, how am I really feeling today in my body, in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit? And whatever comes up for you there is absolutely perfect as it is. No need to be any better or any different than whatever is present for you today. And if you want to share it in the chat, then we can all start to feel how we're all arriving together. Liz is relaxed, calm, and grounded. Isabel feeling excited today. Yay. Yeah. Anything else that's present for you in your body? Feel free to share. A lot moving through my body and field, expanding my channel. Everyone shares. Thank you, Luana. Danielle, don't know where you're at right now and if you're in a place that you're able to type, but if you are, welcome. I welcome your share as well. For me, my heart is definitely like a little poundy with anticipation and nerves, and also like a little like stress slip of like, oh my gosh, I've got to get all of the, make sure everyone who wants to come actually has the link. Right before we started, you know, the little last minute things, always adding a little extra excitement juice to the field. So yeah, just really my heart still maybe a little beating fast from that. But my spirit has like this permagrin on my face at being surrounded by people I love so much, soul sisters that I really love, and I'm feeling so blessed and grateful and deeply honored by your presence here today. Thank you. You mean the world to me, really. And my body honestly is a little tired. It's been a little bit of a marathon putting this on. I followed the call of spirit to do it this week, and I was just listening to something by Sabrina of Rewilding Women on the astrology of this week, and it's super potent. Alana's the astrologer here, not me, but there's a lot of cool conjunctions going on now. Mercury's coming out of its shadow, a lot of things moving in the energy field right now, and her message was like, this is the week to step into your dharma. And I was like, oh, this is why spirit's like, this is your dharma, girl. Get up on that stage. I don't care if you think you're ready. I don't care if you got your makeup on. I don't care what you think. Get on stage and share your story. So here I am, tech glitches and whatever it takes. I'm just here to share with you and share my story. I pulled an oracle card last night that was all about from the Kuan Yin deck, and it was really just all about it being the time to share, be brave and share things that I haven't shared before, and be seen in areas of my life that I haven't really been publicly seen before. And that's what this workshop is. This play shop is definitely an edge for me. These are things that I share with my close friends one-on-one. We have deep conversations. So coming out and sharing about my life, my marriage, my relationship to my femininity, my connection to what it is to really be able to drop into my body and feel myself and express from my heart, and a journey that has been for me my whole life. it's a new leading edge for me. And I am really grateful for your support in being here while I do it. Thanks for seeing me. I see you. I see you in the journey that you've been on, and how, yeah, and that many of us have been on together here for a couple of years. And if you're new to me here, then I honor the journey that you've been on. Even if I haven't been able to witness it yet, honoring you and that. So, okay, so let me just set the container here. We are going to be going about 2 hours. I might go, because I started a few minutes over, if you need to get off right on the hour at 2 Mountain Time, or 1 Mountain Time, I totally understand. And I might go just a little bit over because I have a lot that I wanted to fit in here. So we'll see how it goes. Confidentiality. So I am recording this. So whatever we do share within this and things may be available, whatever I repeat on video from the chat, whatever you share, just know that there will be a replay that people will be watching. So there will be people that are outside of who's here now. So I want you to feel totally safe in sharing, but also share just knowing that, right? That I cannot control necessarily who receives and hears all of the different things. So trust your own discretion as to, just the depth of things or whatnot that you want to go into. I just want to be completely transparent on that. And as you are sharing transparently, sharing vulnerably, sharing from your feelings and from your eye is what we're here to do today. An opportunity to really drop in deep, to really feel a sense of revealing things that perhaps are more edgy. Perhaps they're your leading edge of what you are used to being seen in by other people in your life. And I encourage you to lean into that edge, to open your heart and to share the things in writing or in the chat or in video, if you want to come off chat at times too. So, all right. And then also with that, as we all will be sharing, and for myself as well as sharing with you, I invite you to really take on compassionate listening, to really listen from your heart, receive in your heart, receive and listen to feel what someone is sharing, not what you think about it, not what the judgments, not what the mind wants to immediately jump on top of. But our whole practice today, we're going to do some exercises and practice, is really about receiving and listening from our hearts, as well as then responding and sharing from our hearts. So I encourage and invite you into compassionate listening today. Okay, so let's just set, now that we have the kind of energetic container there set of the space that we'll be sharing in today, let's start with an opening invocation. Let's activate the energies. This is the fun part, at least for me. And I know all of you as well. Okay, a little candle. Anyway, I have this. So, taking a moment then to take a deep inhale. Filling the lungs, closing the eyes if you're in a place that allows that. And letting all of the air out with your exhale. Continue deep breathing. Okay, we are calling forth and activating the Reiki energy now to be with us as we are together in this sacred space. Now, and activating and calling in Honsaje Shonen, that this energy permeates through all time and space infinitely, equally potent and powerful in the infinite moment of now in which you receive it. Calling in benevolent, unconditionally loving and supportive spirit family, our spirit guides, our Reiki guides, animal guides. Inviting in their messages, their support, their love for us, always there on our team, having our back, supporting us in our life, our love, our mission. Blessing Mother Earth, sending her and all of the living inhabitants, energetic, spiritual, sending her so much love, honor, respect, and blessings. She is Mother Earth, an expression of the divine feminine energies that we are calling in today. Calling in the goddesses, calling in Isis, Kuan Yin, all of the goddesses that you work with. You can invite them in now, bringing in their wisdom, their strength, their power, their inspiration, their feminine essence. Feeling in your spirit body, in your energy body, their presence. And opening the crown chakra, visualizing a beam of white light coming down from the heavens, pure white healing light. Allowing it to come into your crown chakra, moving its way down, down, down through all of your chakras and your spine, filling up your aura as if it were a balloon. Feeling the cleansing of this white light as it moves over you today. Releasing any concerns, intrusive thoughts, worries, fear. Allowing it all to be washed out by this white healing light. Allowing this white healing white light now to enter your heart. We now delete, destroy, and uncreate from all time, space, dimensions, and reality any blockages or walls around your heart. Anywhere there is trauma, anywhere there is fear, anything that has calcified from a heartbreak, from grief, from pain. Allowing the white healing light to release, relax, cleanse any walls around the heart. Allowing your body and your heart now to feel so soft. Your breathing to be low, slow, and full. Relaxing as you feel safe to come into your body fully, into your life. Anywhere you may have wanted to pull back, try to create some distance from the discomfort, the intense sensation or pain of feeling really big feelings. Allowing yourself now to relax, to be held in all of your feelings, to be accepted and loved in all of your feelings. To be safe and secure in your body and in your heart. Affirming now to yourself, maybe placing your hands on your heart. I am safe to be me and to feel all of my feelings. Allowing yourself to really feel that. Maybe increasing the pressure of your hands, really holding yourself. Feeling how you have yourself. You can trust yourself. You can trust divinity to hold you, to love you unconditionally, exactly as you are in every moment. Now, maybe bringing your arms so they come around your shoulders, giving yourself a big hug. I love me. I've got me. I am here for me. One more big squeeze. Now imagining that this is your sisters here in this space today, giving you a great big hug, loving you, seeing you, holding and squeezing. Feeling the love pouring out and circulating in this space from your hearts all together. Yes, 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 sisters. We are one. I am you and you are me. My reflection of the divine essence and nature that is in us all. And relaxing your arms, letting them fall down gently by your side. Simply noticing now how your heart feels. Does it feel different than when you entered today? How does your body feel? Any places where there's still tension that come to mind that you can feel, you can relax even further. And that white light that has been streaming through and filling and clearing, cleansing our hearts, continues down our body. Feel it going all the way through your spine, through your legs, through your feet, maybe wiggling your toes and putting your feet firmly flat on the ground, allowing the energy to continue down all the way through into the ground, returning back to Mother Earth. And we give gratitude and thanks to the divine, to the angels, to our ancestors, to all those who have come before that have brought us into existence and this miracle of our life, of this moment. We give gratitude to Mother Earth for the generous bounty that she provides us, that we may eat, drink, breathe, and live. Give gratitude to Father Sun for the warmth, for the light, for all of the energy that we've been getting, even bigger energy surges these last few days and weeks. Giving gratitude to ourselves and our higher self, our spirit self, always there and available, always unconditionally loving us. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the Reiki energies, to the Reiki masters. We ask that we continue to be supported throughout all of this experience together today. Aho, and so it is. Coming back now, we can allow your eyes to open, slowly coming back to the screen and each other. How are you, sisters? Anything you'd like to share? How did that feel for you? I feel much more relaxed and grounded and centered now. Feel that I always start with the opening invocation and Reiki energy and calling in our support system, our spiritual support system, because that is what really grounds me and supports me. Oh, okay, if there's anything that came through for you or that you're feeling that you'd like to share in the chat, I welcome that. And now that we have activated our spirit energies and bodies, how about we do a practice and first get into our physical bodies, our queen. Isabel says that was beautiful. Thank you so much. It was nice to hug myself and tell myself how much I love me. Hadn't done that today, so thank you. Yes, Isabel, I love that. And I love that you put today in there because I totally know and trust that that is a practice you do on the daily. And I love that. Rochelle, so happy to see you here, sister. I'm delighted. Yeah, she says I came in late, but the part I caught was wonderful. Came from a market research call. Great. I have to leave early to go watch my younger niece. No problem. I understand. Thank you for being here as much as you can. And I'll send out the replay, even if I need to message the link to you directly, as I have the email issues currently. But the support tech team did say that they were on it. I just noticed I got a reply back. So hopefully that's going to get fixed here very soon. All right, so let's do a little bit of movement. Love this song, Divine Feminine by Alex New. So if you can stay seated, you can stand up. Oh. All right. Okay, so first is just going to be
divine feminine, get your adrenaline up. You can pick your chin up. No, I got it all, body is genuine. I'm feeling my emotions, feminine devotion. I ain't gonna change a thing about you. My empathy is my power now. My daddy would be so damn proud to see I'm so grown up and so in love with myself. Feeling like Aphrodite, empathy in my base.
waking up and activating the body, the shoulders, all joints.
Strike your heart like lightning. Thought that simple was selfish, 'cause I didn't get my needs met. It's all just a memory now, 'cause I'm so in love with my energy now. 'Cause I'm a goddess of divine feminine. Get your adrenaline up. You can pick your chin up. No, I got it. Body is genuine. I'm feeling my emotions, feminine Celebrate rebirth. I promise you it works. Let all of your tears out. It's okay to cry. Let all of it out, girl. Tomorrow you won't be so wise. 'Cause I'm a goddess, divine feminine. Get your adrenaline up. You can pick your chin up. No, I got it. Body is genuine. I'm feeling my emotions. Feminine devotion. I ain't gonna change a thing about my empathy is my power. My daddy would be so damn proud. See me so grown up and so in love with myself. Divine feminine.
Okay. Whew, I feel way better now. How about you? I love that song. Oh, really activating and invoking the divine feminine energy in our bodies, because our bodies is really what this is all about. It's about coming home to our physical sensations, to the wisdom of our bodies, to how the intuitive somatic knowing that our bodies hold for us, of how we need to move, where we need to go. I've come to this place where I just sometimes, my body is going about doing the things. I have one thought in one moment, and then I'm like, oh, I need to get this. And I walk to the other room. I've ever done this. And I stand there, and then I'm like, my mind's already gone off to 10 other things and has no idea why I'm standing in that room. And I have to stand there and look around and be like, I literally have to ask my body, what were we going to do here? And it's like, oh, you need to pick up this thing. I'm like, right. Okay, get my sage. That's why I was standing here. Thank you for bringing me to the right time and place when my mind had totally forgotten what I needed. And my body always knows where things are, and she knows what I need. So that's where this really taking the time to get into our bodies and to feel. And for me and my background in history, that's dancing. Dancing, as you all, I think everyone here right now knows, really is the way that my body first started to teach me and show me, and was therapy for me before I ever knew I needed therapy. When I was in my 20s and I thought I had life figured out. And I did. I went dancing multiple nights of the week. And so that's something that I love to share and co-create together in dance and space. Going to ecstatic dances is still like one of my favorite forms of rejuvenation and movement and therapy, is to really be able to be in that just body knowing. So, okay, now I want to do a little breath work practice with you. Starting first with spirit, then moving into body. Then I'll share here a little bit more around my story, and we'll get into some more masculine, feminine principles, talk about polarity, do some practices together on communication. So that's where we're going with the flow of this. But I really love to set and ground first the spiritual space, then the physical space. Then we have the container and the energy really set to be able to get to go into the more kind of like mental pieces of it, more conceptual, perhaps I'll say. But all right, so let's do, actually, one right now is to go into this. This is a beautiful, really sweet. The song has made me cry before. As one of the biggest frequencies of feminine energy is surrender, right? Surrendering our ego, surrendering our control, surrendering our attachments, It's not about white flag, I surrender, I give up, apathy, there's no point, right? That's not the type of surrender and the frequency of surrender we're talking about here. We're talking about the surrender that brings you to your knees in devotion and gratitude, that says, I want to let go of anything that is not in alignment with my true nature, my true spiritual nature, my true essence, magical essence, as I would say. Anything that is not supportive, not in alignment, not from there, anything that's from my conditioning, from the outside environment, from society, from what parents have taught me, from trauma that's been passed down, that's what I want to surrender. And whether we're in relationship or not, we can always be in surrender to the masculine when we realize that consciousness is the masculine. The universe is the masculine. The universe is the masculine and the feminine, but it also is the masculine that leads us, right? That tells us what to do, where to go, what date to have a play shop on. And we can just surrender to that knowing, that direction that comes to us from spirit, right? And one of the biggest practices of coming into our feminine is the practice of being able to be on the leading edge of that point where our trust comes up against our fear, right? That place, Liz had said earlier in the chat here, she said, oh, I don't know, feeling the edge of buying her sound bath bowls, right? Investing in herself and her spirit, saying, I want to heal with sound. But this is really a big financial investment. And the fear coming up there and being like, the spirit saying, okay, do this. The fear being like, oh, is this smart? Is this wise? Is this in the budget? How am I going to do this? Is this ever? All the chattery voices that are there to protect us, right? Honoring and loving those voices. There's nothing wrong with them. We're going to get into that later around emotions, negative emotions. Like there's nothing wrong with them. They're all just messages for us. And they're all there to protect us and love us, right? But we're riding that edge where our trust starts to meet up with that anxiety and that fear, right? And it's that anxiety and that fear that has us want to then take back control. Okay, I got to grab the steering wheel. Okay, I got to do this. I got to do that. And we're like, nope, I don't think you got it, universe. I got to take back control. I got to do it the right way that clearly my brain knows. And so I'm going to do it the way I think it should be done, right? That's what the mind tends to want to do. And if you'll notice, it wants to do this in relationships. It wants to do this with your partner. It says, oh no, I thought you had it. You don't got it. I got to do it. I got to make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich the right way. You can't do it that way. Got to put peanut butter on both sides of the bread, or however you like to make it. Got to wash the dishes this way, right? So one of the things in practicing these principles on a spiritual level, and then in also a very practical relationship level, is all of the same things apply. And this is really what I have been discovering and practicing in my relationship. And this is really where the Tantra studies I've been doing in my Tantra facilitator training first started. First week was transfiguration, seeing the divine in each person, seeing the divine in your partner, right? Seeing the divine in every action, every choice, every word that anyone around us says, our sisters, our family, our parents. Yes. Yes, loving your messages. And so as we are able to see the divine, look at them and see God and Goddess embodied, see divine energy embodied, see that, yes, they have their reasons just as much as we do as to why they're choosing what they're choosing, saying what they're saying, going about doing what they're doing, right? And so being, okay, can I let go of control? And this is what we're really going to dance with. This is the practice. Can I let go of control to attachment, to outcome? How it actually ends up getting done, what my life looks like, what the other person actually does, what choices they make. Can I let go of trying to control their choices and instead return to how do I feel and expressing how I feel and my truth, just to express it without needing to control the outcome. So we're going to listen to this song, Surrender, and we're going to do a little breath work practice, because breath work is an amazing way to practice this skill, because our breath is so just so completely connected to our sense of safety, security, and life force energy, right? Water, food, breath, we can go the least amount of time without breath. We will not survive very long if we do not breathe. We can have some time without water. We can have some time without food, but breath we need all the time. And our body brings up this survival anxiety as soon as you hold your breath. And it goes, am I going to be able to take another breath? I don't know. I need to breathe. I need to breathe. And all that same energy, all those same voices, all that anxiety comes up when you're at the edge of your breath. And that's why breath work, I think, is so powerful and can be so healing and really such a great teacher. So we are going to do breath work for this short song here. And so our practice is going to be playing with this edge intentionally. It's going to be taking deep, measured, counting inhales and holds. And then you'll exhale to the count, and then you'll hold. Okay? And play with at what point does your body, does your mind start to feel a little like, oh, this is kind of too long. I really, really need to take my next breath. I need to inhale right now. And just see if in the face of when it feels triggered, when it feels a little shaky, if you can simply relax your body and let it be there, even let the anxiety be there, let the fear thoughts be there for just an extra count or two before you take that in. Okay, so just push gently with this edge. Now, if at any time you start feeling lightheaded, you start feeling sick or nauseous or unsafe, right? This is the dance. You always honor your body, right? You never want to do anything that's going to hurt your body. You don't want to do anything that is going to push you way beyond that edge or that is going to harm you. And where the body thinks it can go before it's going to be harmed or hurt is over its edge, and it starts to bring up the triggers and the reactions, usually is actually pretty well within actually where that point is, right? So when people are like free divers and they're practicing holding their breath for multiple minutes under the water with no recourse, if they need to breathe because they're underwater with nothing, they're just diving, they're practicing like expanding their lung capacity and expanding their mental ability as well. So that's what we're going to be playing with. Are you ready? Want to play with this together? Enter into the space of surrender here with me. Okay, listen to this song. How much you can hear me too? Little. You can hear it. Can you hear me as well? All right, so as you listen to this, take your first deep inhale in, filling your lungs fully, your belly, your rib cage, letting air come into every part of your lungs and your ribs, expanding it out in all directions. Hold in this full feeling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale it fully. Keep it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Feeling it so fully. And hold. 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale. Letting all the tension in. Hold it out. 5, 4, 2, 1. Inhale. Feeling full. Hold it in. Now you hold it to your capacity. Play with your own edge right now. How long can you hold your breath in, floating in trust, surrender, feeling so full, allowing the fullness, allowing all the breath in you to be love, feeling so full of love. And when you're ready, you can exhale out fully all the air in your lungs, holding it out. Long as you can, noticing your body's desire to be and you can take your ease. Hold. And exhale it out. Last, hold out. And inhaling. Inhale all together. And exhaling. Release it out. Returning now to your natural breath. Just going to do that short one here today. You can do this for longer periods of time, really playing with and noticing your own edges, noticing, oh, I really, really want to exhale now. Can I wait just one more moment? This is also a somatic practice, as you can imagine that your life is filled with so much love, so much goodness, all the air that you are filled with on your inhale that you're holding in. Can you hold that? Can you hold the blessings? Can you hold the goodness? Can that be okay? Can you feel safe? Can you allow your body to be safe when it is filled with so much love? And you can allow it to empty out. And on the exhale, once it's empty, you can allow yourself to sit in the peace of the emptiness. So how is that practice for you? I'd love to check in, see if you were able to follow along, see how that felt. Alana says, enjoyed doing this together, felt rose codes and felt love coming in and loving me up with breath. Yes, exactly. So allowing your body and your breathing to return to normal now. Can we surrender? Okay, yes. Okay, so come back in. Okay, so I just want to share a little bit on my story. Many of you here now already know, some of you on the replay, or if you're listening to this another time, might not be as familiar, but I'll just go over it really briefly here, just to give some context and background to how I've come into all of this, my own experiences around it. So let's see here. I'm going to go back to my son was born in Denver, Colorado. That's where I had originally lived. And we moved from Denver to Costa Rica, to La Ecovilla, Costa Rica, to a small little eco village in the jungle, and we thought that we had made it. We thought that that was it. We sold everything. We paid off our debts. We owned our home. We just we found the get out of the rat race free card. That was what we thought. And we did in a lot of ways. But after we moved here, I got pregnant intentionally. We wanted one more child, and I was deeply connected to her spiritually and really felt her energy in our whole move. And I think she wanted to be born here. That's part of something that I've always felt. But after we were there, then my husband, through going through some lifestyle things and also just in such a big culture shock of coming to Costa Rica, he started to get really depressed. It was kind of clinically, chronically could not pull himself out of it, depressed. And so in that, when he was depressed and I was pregnant, and then our daughter was born, but we were in a really rocky place. We were not connected. I felt so unsupported because this masculine presence, he had been such a strong masculine, getting us all the way moved and everything. And then when his job was complete, he lost purpose. He's like, yeah, what's the point of me getting out of bed? There's nothing for me to do today. And for me, in my feminine, just being in the jungle, I was like, I don't have to do anything. This is the best thing of my life. I don't have to do anything. I can just be in the jungle with my babies. That was everything I'd ever wanted. But for him, he really needed a sense of purpose. He needed a sense of drive. And he needed a why. And he just was not able to find that within himself at that time. And so we separated. But with the commitment that we had made previously in some other transformational work we'd done to being empowered, loving, and generous to each other and in our lives. And that commitment, more than any other commitment, having given our word to really showing up to the best of our abilities, to being empowered, loving, and generous with each other through thick and thin, that was what really helped us to not fall into the kind of traditional, getting really mean and nasty and fighting over the kids and taking all of the anger, betrayal, and hurt that we felt from not being the person that we each wanted the other person to be. There was a lot of disillusionment. I thought I married this person and now you're showing up as this person. You've changed completely, but you changed completely, but I didn't change enough, but you didn't change enough. You changed the wrong direction. Right? We've been together. We are going on our 7 years of being together, and relationships go in 7-year cycles. Life goes in 7-year cycles. Relationships go in 7-year cycles. And we were on the end. We were in the death phase of the relationship we had begun, and it died. It just completely burned right up. And there was just surrendering to it. There was just allowing and letting it do so in the most graceful way possible. But let's see, for 3 years approximately, we were separated. And during that time, we had relationships with other people. And during that time, we were that the relationships we had with the other people were the relationships we really needed to get the codes, get the experience in relationship that we had been looking for, that we had gotten stuck in a place that we weren't able to provide to each other. There's a depth of romance and being heart-based in a certain way that the man that I dated was able to really bring for me, that taught me so many lessons, that really helped me come into my feminine and feel loved and cherished for who I was. And there was a softness and a sweetness and a connection that my husband was able to have with the woman that he dated, that was what he had really been looking for, that we hadn't been able to have together, and I hadn't been able to bring him in years, as my heart had gotten hardened from frustrations and resentments. And we just had a different kind of dynamic. We had come together initially as really kind of two strong masculines. And I was very in my masculine, and I was working in my corporate career, and I was hiking mountains, and I was keeping up with the boys. And I was like, you're my adventure buddy, and I can hike mountains and shoot guns, and I can go all to the top of the mountains and jump out of airplanes and the bottom of the oceans and scuba dive with you. And you're the person that's going to keep my life adventurous and exciting. And I can keep up with you and you can keep up with me. Let's go do this life thing. And that's kind of this energy we were in when we got married, which was an awesome energy to be in. And at that time was totally resonant and perfect for us. But after we had children, especially for me, my energy changed, right? Because after I became a mother, I had no interest in going to the top of the mountains anymore. I might die. And then who would nurse my baby? I can't take my baby on my boob and climb up a mountain. Like, sorry, I can't go with you. Even when I was pregnant, he had a mission to finish the 52, 54, maybe 14ers in Colorado, 14,000 foot mountains that he had climbed every single one. And he was on like a mission to do so. And he was halfway there when we met. I did about half of them with him. And then the last few, I was like, you're on your own because I got a big belly. I am not climbing any mountains today. And also, please don't make me a widow. Please be very, very careful. We got a baby coming, right? So all of a sudden, I had this anxiety and this fear for life that I'd never had before, honestly. Like, I didn't really have a strong fear of death when I was younger, so I would just do whatever. But then once I had a baby to take care of in my body and with my body, my life became important because it was important to someone other than me, because it was necessary that I remain alive in order to be able to nurture and care for my daughter. And I'm sharing this because I know a lot of you on here and with me are moms today. And I'm curious if you resonate with this shift when you became a mother, that all of a sudden the life that you'd had in your 20s when it was just all about you and fun and play and like kind of like in a certain way, you were still felt invincible from your teenage years, hadn't really gotten like face to face with your mortality so much yet. And also like it was just you. And then that changes, that shift when you have a baby and you become a mother. And so that was what happened in our relationship. And it really rocked us. And he really didn't know what to do because he'd lost his adventure buddy now. And all of a sudden, instead of a fun adventure buddy, he had this like cautious, anxious, worried, more like protective, fearful woman. And he was like, who are you? And I felt like, he didn't really appreciate what I was offering in my motherhood and my family and my taking care of the family. And so I felt really unseen and unloved. I felt really, unseen, unloved, and unsupported by him at that time. And that, if you felt that in your relationship, that is just a downward toxic spiral. The more you feel unseen, unloved, and unsupported, then the more that the tendency is to reach out with criticism and to attack. And then they receive that, and the man receives that attachment. He feels attacked. He feels like he's not good enough. He feels like he can't make you happy. He feels like nothing he does ever pleases you. And he starts to give up. He starts to be like, I don't even want to try and make her happy because it never works anyway. All she does is complain. So why should I bother? Why should I even try? Right? So then he starts to get frustrated and resentful and starts to lash out. And so you start getting this depolarization. We're going to go into polarization here in a minute and how this works. You start to get into the depolarization where you're now like trying to control everything. The feminine is trying to control everything with her mind, and the masculine is feeling really emotional and really hurt by that. But it's coming from our needs not being met. And it's coming from fear and from anxiety and from not really being able to feel each other anymore and see each other's hearts anymore. So what we did is, just to conclude this story, then we'll move on into polarity in an exercise. So to conclude the story, we ended up having the relationships that we had with other people come to an end, in large part because while we were not sure that we could make our own relationship work together in a romantic way, we were really committed to being co-parents together. And we were really committed to both of us being in the lives of our young children and not moving to other countries where the kids had to go back and forth, right? And we're expats. So now we're here living in Costa Rica. Do we move back to the States? My partner had moved to Ecuador. His partner was in Colorado. Here we lived in Costa Rica. We're all in long distance relationships. No one's getting enough of their needs met or what they need. And it really didn't work. So those relationships taught us a lot, really love those people, like deeply in love, each of us, with the new partner that we had connected with. And there wasn't really a future there that we could walk down that road without sacrificing what was the most important to us, which was the stability and family for our children. So a big surrender had to happen, a big death had to happen, and a letting go of those dreams, those people, those relationships as what would make us happy. And it felt like at that point for both of us, there was a maturing that happened, a threshold that we stepped over, where we realized, oh, not only am I not only living for myself in terms of if I survive, now I'm really not even living for myself only in it's only my desires and only my dreams that I want to pursue. Now I'm actually contributing and holding the whole of my family and my children's well-being, and my deepest value and my love is actually telling me that that might mean, and in that case did mean many times, letting go and surrendering what felt so precious to our hearts. Pause here. Just want to check in. Give me a heart in the chat, or I relate. If you relate to that, if you have hit a point in your life where you've realized, well, there's something I really, really want, it's in conflict with even higher values that I hold. So I'm going to let go of what I want. I'm going to surrender what I'm wanting to hold for myself in devotion to love and the highest and best for all. And for those that I love more than myself, quote unquote, but like the way that you love your children, right? Yeah, thank you. Okay, see the hearts, putting up in your reactions and in the chat. Thank you. It's good to feel you. I feel like this is really a threshold of a maturing process that happens for almost everyone at some point in our lives, right? Because we don't always get what we want. Much as we like to say we do, much as we like to affirm we do, getting what we want isn't actually the point of life. Because we don't always know what's really in our highest and best. And what we want is maybe a picture that we have of how one particular desire manifests, right? And I'm all about like the manifestation of our desires. And manifestation of our desires and getting what we want are not always the same thing. Those are different energetic frequencies, right? And the manifestation of our desires, there's a lot more surrender to allowing that manifestation to look like anything that is in the highest and best for all. Whereas when we're trying to get what we want, it's often coming from a much more limited perspective where we have a certain picture and we're trying to make all the people and parts of our lives fit that picture. And there's a lot more of a frequency of control in that. And it comes from the ego, even if the desire initially is innocent in our hearts for that. The desire for love, the desire for freedom, pure, beautiful, innocent desires. It's just the way that our minds attach to that and tell us what that's supposed to look like. That's where we can get tripped up. So at that time, this was, let's see here, in 20, like time's been hard for me to keep track of, but I want to say it's 2022. Yeah, the end of 2022, where we kind of ended up on the couch looking at each other going, okay, well, our relationships with other people have ended. What are we going to do? Are we going to get divorced or are we going to move forward together? And I was like, we still, in all that time, because we'd lived overseas and different things, we'd never really filed divorce paperwork. I'd actually officially gotten divorced. And Brian was like, I don't want to get divorced. And I was like, well, okay, but I don't want to just be separated for the rest of my life. Like, I'm not available to be with anyone else, and neither are you. If we find anyone else, if we're not divorced and we're still married, but also like, yes, okay, Liz, I love you so much. She says she has to go now. Thanks for being here. You can catch the rest of the replay because we're about to go do some, do some explorations and some exercises now. So, yeah, okay. So to complete this, basically we got that together and we were like, okay, let's do whatever it takes to climb this mountain. Let's find the resources that we need. Let's find the people, just a little bit. Let's find the people and let's find the connections the guides to really be able to take us up this mountain. And so in that, I found in the middle of the night, it was intuitively spirit led me to a guide and a coach. His name is Michael Bates. And we worked with him for 5 weeks intensively on the principles of masculine and feminine energy and relating. And as we worked with him, I did exercises to meditate and visualize being inside of Brian's heart. That was one of the first meditation exercises he gave me. He was like, imagine that you like meditate every morning, imagining you're inside Brian's heart. And at first, when I went in there, I was like, this place is really scary and filled with daggers. Like, it was so scary to me to be inside his heart. That was even just in my imagination. That was really intimidating, right? But it was such a good practice to bring into that. We also read a book that our coach asked us to called Intimate Communion by David Data. And that book really was like painted the picture for me of what he called like a third stage relationship, when you're really relating from pure love and have kind of transcended this 50-50 and you've really gone into deep polarization. When you do that, the way that the energy can flow and the relationship can feel, as he was describing it in the book and how to do that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what my heart has been longing for my whole life. But I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't know how to describe it. I didn't know how to say, I just want to feel loved. Okay, but he doesn't know how to do that. Like, I could feel in my heart what the longing was for a long time in my relationships, but I never really knew how to communicate it. So we read that book, and that was like mind blowing. It's called Intimate Communion. And there's other books, and David Data has a big body of work on these topics. But that book in particular, I found really supportive. And then we worked with another couple all last year. Their name's Andrew and Dawn, and they really practice divine union and a divine dominance and submission, kinky way of living. But it's really not about kink. It really is about being in the embodiment of my surrender and his leadership, and him leading from a place of divine masculine. So we've been working with them all this last year, and then bringing us up now into this year. And so that's been my journey this last year, has been letting go of everything, even a lot of my own, even Mayumi essence, even this practice, even leading groups, even healing, which is one of my most beloved things. And yet the masculine energy that it does take to run a business, and the focus and devotion to that, was something that was a little bit too much to hold, while I was really focusing on just being in my feminine and surrender and support with my husband, and really helping to build him back up, because his health had gone downhill while we were separated. He didn't have such great lifestyle habits and a lot of things. And so getting back together, I was like, okay, if I'm going to follow this man, he needs to be strong. Like, we need to do like a boot camp. And he's really been working so hard. I'm so proud of him. I just see every day, it's so hard when you have gotten to a place where your health and your energy really isn't there and you're in depression, and to do the work anyway that it takes to show up and do the things that a healed person does before you're healed. I salute everyone on that healing journey, because it is so hard. It's so heavy. The weight is so strong. The old habits are still so strong. So it's been really, like, I've been giving him so much of my heart, my love, my energy, my devotion, my healing, pouring in Reiki sessions with him almost every night, making good food for him, like healthy food, homemade food every night of the week for the family, and really being there for, and really learning for myself what it is to be a wife in a whole new way, what it is to really be in devotion to my partner, and to really pour my love and my heart and my support into what he needs for him to be healthy and strong, so that he can shoulder the burdens of the world, right? Because it's not a one-way street. What he does for me then is he takes on taking care of the the burden and the weight of some of the practicalities and logistics and money making and different things in our life, so that I don't have to be, so that I'm free of that. There's a freedom that he gives me that allows me to just be. So as we go into talking more now, completing my story there, go into talking more about masculine and feminine polarity. So the divine masculine is the energy of freedom, of consciousness, of Shiva, the Shiva energy that is the point, it's the stillness, it's the single pointedness. For the masculine, it's most important to him to be recognized and appreciated for his strength, right? So it's his strength. So any way for a man, for the masculine energy, anytime that you can be recognizing and appreciating their strength, that is what they are most wanting to be seen in. And his highest need is to feel respected, right? To feel respected in how you speak to him, how you treat him, respecting how he shows up, his work, his time, his energy. So his highest need is really to feel respected. Now for the divine feminine, she's the energy of love. She's the energy of movement, of expression. She's the void, the infinite, the all, the infinite possibilities and potentiality. It is most important for her to be recognized and appreciated for her beauty. And that means also her inner beauty, her radiance, her light, her love, what she is exuding out of her. She wants to be seen in that. You resonate with that? And her highest need is to feel loved. And so in desiring to feel loved, she's wanting to be appreciated for who she is and loved for who she is, not what she does. But for the masculine, that's different. He actually wants to be appreciated for what he does, because that is his energy and his essence, is the doer, is the accomplisher. And so when we acknowledge and honor everything, even the teeny tiny little things, babe, you took out the trash, I really appreciate that. Noticing and acknowledging all the little things he does, that is what really has him feel respected and appreciated and really satisfies that deep inner core need for him. For her, it's about being appreciated for who she is. Wow, babe, I just love sitting next to you on the couch because your energy feels so nurturing to be close to. Oh, it's like the biggest compliment to my heart to receive, right? That's what I'm really just wanting to receive from him. It's not about what I'm doing. It's like, I love being appreciated for the dinner I make or for, the things that I do. That's great. But really my deepest need is to be seen and appreciated for the intangible gifts that my being, my presence, my love bring to the family and to him. It's the glue that holds the family together, right? The mother is the glue. So an important piece that really helps me to understand how masculine feminine polarity works is there are two sides of the batteries, right? So you've got a plus and a minus. You've got the positive and the negative. And that circulates, the energy circulates. And that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about polarity. They're referring to it, and we use these terms as like a technical term. We use masculine feminine polarity as a reference to electrical systems, because we really are electrical beings, and energy is basically electricity, right? Electricity. And so in the energy that flows between the life force that is constantly in motion in the universe, the way that humans circulate that back and forth is primarily, back up here so you can see, primarily through our hearts and our wombs. So for the masculine, it's pretty obvious that they are designed to have their penetration point, out point, through their lingam, right? Through their penis, through their sacral organs. That is where they are designed to penetrate from. Life is created from their penetration from that place. And we are designed to receive there. We're designed to receive in our wombs and in our yonis. We are designed to take that life force energy that he gives us, receive it into our yonis and into our wombs, and bring it up into a place of creation, right? Bring it up through our sacral chakras. When we receive that and we allow it in, and that can be his doing, his provision, his protection, all of those things that his masculine energy is, when we receive those into our bodies, into our energy fields with gratitude, and we bring that energy up inside of ourselves, then it wants to spill out of us through our hearts, through love, through emotion. And this was a really powerful piece that our mentors, Andrew and Dawn, _infinite devotion on Instagram, just to give them a shout out. One of the things our mentors taught us is that all emotion is love, right? So when I am expressing my emotions, and truly my emotions, right? When they're just pure feeling and emotion through my heart, whether it's my grief, whether it's my joy, whether it's my silliness or playfulness, whatever it is that I'm expressing through my heart, that is love that I am expressing. And so then when he takes all that I am expressing and he receives it in his heart, right? Because I'm also, the feminine is built so that our hearts are really the only place we're designed to penetrate into the world. We're designed to send out from, not even our minds, but our hearts. And so when we send our energy and our love from our hearts and we stay present in our hearts, then in our partners, they can receive that in their heart, because that's the place for men that they are designed to receive, is in their heart. And when a man can hold the concept that all emotions are love. So even when I'm sending him my anger, I'm still sending him love. When he can hold that and really take everything into his heart, and then he pushes it down. My husband calls it through the blender. He imagines he has like a blender in his belly. He takes everything I send to him, he takes it in his heart, and using his breath and also like Kegel squeezes, basically like perineum tightening. He uses that to pull it down, pull that energy down through his belly, his core, through the blender, and kind of turn it back into pure energy. Turn it back into pure energy and pure love, regardless of what I'm saying, not letting it go up to his mind, not letting himself react or get defensive or argumentative with me about it. Just, this is how she's feeling, putting it down through the blender, turning it back into pure life force energy, and then circulating it back to me, right? So we have this practice that we do every night before we go to bed, where we spend 10 minutes doing this I see, I feel exercise. And this practice is one that was taught to us by our early mentors. I've also seen it in other different books and things. It's a really popular practice because it's so effective for creating polarity. The masculine energy is the I see energy, and the feminine energy is the I feel energy. We practice playing with both still in our practice, but I'm just going to share with you briefly how this practice goes if you want to take it on. There's many different like variations and levels and layers of depth that you can go to in it, and nuances to it. But the surface, like the simple basics of the practice, come back closer. Don't know if it helps. Make sure you can hear me clearly. So the way that the I see, I feel practice goes is simply starting. We take turns. We start with, and he starts leading it with, I see. I see your face looks tense right now. Could be something that he says. And then I just simply answer, I receive that. And I really intentionally allow myself and my sacred, my body to just really receive his seeing of me. And I say, thank you. And that's all I say. No other response, no other reaction, nothing, just thank you. I've received what you see. Basically the message, but all I say is thank you. Then I reply, and doing it this way, I'll say, I reply, I feel. And I'll say, I feel compassion for the tiredness in your body. Okay, like that. And he says, thank you. And he receives it and just allows it to be without making stories around it. And then he replies with, I see. And it can be in reply to what I just said, or it can be something completely different, whatever he's present to in that moment, and whatever I'm present to. So simply doing this for 10 minutes every night before bed is like a game changer, because it actually brings us into presence. It brings us into connection. It brings us into awareness. If there are things that I want to express, of some feelings I've had during the day that are kind of gritty, I have a chance to express them. I feel frustration at this that happened today, right? I can express that, and I can express it coming from my heart and from a simple I feel statement, which takes away the story, the accusations, the blame. It's a container that allows us to be seen, felt, and heard and witnessed without being caught up and going down a argument trail, without it turning into a fight. So this is a really, really powerful practice that I want to teach more on and share more and go into deeper depth at some point. I think today I'm not going to go deeper than that, but I did want to just share it with you so that if you want to play with it in yourself, in your own relationship or with yourself, you can do so. So let's see here. The next thing I wanted to share was about communication. And so really, as I was saying, this being about the magic of feminine communication, what really works for him to be able to receive your message is when you communicate from your heart, from your feelings, with respect. And that's the hard one. I really struggled in this one. I was brought up with a really kind of more dominating mother who tended to be critical and wasn't always respectful. And I kind of learned that that was the normal tone. And so I've had to retrain myself to bring respect for his strength, his intelligence. Pretty smart guy, really. Sometimes it feels like I'm like, what are you doing? That seems so dumb to me. But actually respecting that he is intelligent, actually, even when I'm like, I don't know about doing it that way. You totally are making the peanut butter sandwich the wrong way, or whatever it is. Respecting his autonomy, right? Who he is, just his autonomy in life, his sovereignty, his ability to do things, not infantilizing him and thinking, oh, he's not capable of doing that. I don't know. I don't think he can pack right. So I don't, want him to do it. Like respecting his ability. It's such a simple thing to say, communicating with respect, and it is such a challenging thing to embody at times. Because what doesn't work is being demeaning or criticizing, complaining, cutting him down, nagging. And my confession is in the first 7 years of our marriage until before our separation, that was kind of a habitual way for me to communicate with him. I didn't really realize and I didn't really know, but I was frequently saying things that were either a criticism or a complaint. I would come at things with, and I know this because it's still there in my brain and I have to translate it in my head and then say it differently because it still habitually comes up. And I think this is part of human nature too, but as a complaint. So what does work is communicating your feelings without an agenda or outcome. This also is very simple to say, and in the embodiment of it is much more challenging, because when you communicate your feelings, it goes as far as, I feel anxious that this is going to happen and I don't know what to do about it. Right? Communicating your feelings without being attached to how he responds, what his solution is, what he does about it. And also without, because what does not work is telling him what to do, bossing him around, fixing the problem for him, or arguing over possible solutions. Also, guilty as charged. Man, it's so easy to go into the mothering. It's so easy to be like, okay, this is wrong. I'm unhappy. This is wrong. This is how it needs to be fixed. I have the answer for you. If you would just do this and be this way, everything would be better. Just do what I say and everybody's happy, right? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm the oldest. Maybe it's because I'm a Virgo. Maybe it's because of lots of different things, conditioning of in our world at this point, or just the being super active in my mind. But it is so easy for me to want to jump right to having an agenda, having a solution, wanting a certain outcome. And that's the piece where the surrender comes in that we spoke about earlier. That's the piece where I go as far as the part that's really challenging of communicating how I'm actually feeling. And we're going to do an exercise here right now, and like really going down the vulnerability layers to really get down to what you're really feeling, right? Because oftentimes when we feel what we feel on the surface is just the symptom. And deeper down underneath that, as you go further through, is really where your like the deepest feelings, the truest, most authentic feelings really lie, that are really close to your heart. So communicating your feelings and surrendering and letting go of what he does with that information. The feelings that you're communicating, that is simply information for him. That helps him to know what choices to make, how to steer the ship, how to protect you, how to provide for you. So when he takes that information that you're giving him of what your feelings are, when he takes that in as, oh, okay, this is information for me to navigate my ship. It works well when I do this. It doesn't work well when I do that. Oh, she's feeling anxious and spinning out right now. I need to bring more stability and more container and more clarity and assurance to her so that her nervous system settles down and she feels more calm, right? So those are the things my husband has told me that is legit what he thinks sometimes. As I'm telling him all these things and I'm like, okay, what are you hearing, babe? And he's like, yeah, I'm seeing that you are spinning out and you've got a lot of anxiety and you're really like freaking out about this. And I see that what I need to do is bring this. And I'm like, that's what you got. That is what you got out of everything I've been sharing. That's what you got. But like that is actually on the macro level what he's seeing that is helping him go, okay, so when I take care of this issue for her, when I wash the dishes after dinner every night, then that allows her to feel taken care of and relaxed, and like she can set down the work she's been doing all day and preparing the food and getting dinner done. And when she knows that I've got it and I'm going to make sure that the dishes get washed, then she gets to relax, right? And so then for him, it becomes not just like, oh, I need to like please her to do the dishes. It becomes my commitment to take care and take on being the person that's responsible for the dishes in our household allows my woman to surrender and to relax and feel taken care of and loved and provided for. And he's doing it from that place. And then I can receive him doing dishes every night for our family as an act of service coming from love. Not just, oh, we're both two people. I cook the food, so you should do the dishes. Like that's an equal share and division, right? That's how the mind wants to construct things. That's like a 50-50, what David Data would say is a stage 2 relationship. A stage 3 relationship is really when you are expressing and feeling everything coming from its root in love. So that's what I want to play with now. Those of you here with me today, I want to play a little game. I had this come to me in the shower yesterday, this name of the complaint upside down cake. It's like when you bake a pineapple upside down cake, right? And you put all the ingredients and you put them in the thing and you bake it. And then when you're done, you actually like flip it over and turn it upside down. So we're going to do a complaint upside down cake and finding the positive root of a complaint. So do you want to play with this? Are you up for that to do here with me? Yeah. Okay. All right. So the way that we are going to do this practice. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Sharon in the chat here as well. Okay. So the complaint upside down cake. We are going to go through the emotions that come up when we're triggered and like get to the bottom of them and then flip them. So this works best if we can have specific examples just to play with. So think of if you can come up with a time recently that you had a disagreement with your partner, with someone in your life, and preferably somebody that you have a connection where they're holding some level of masculine energy, male or female, but just kind of where they're in like the masculine energy role that they're holding, the pole that they're holding. And especially if in that time you were communicating from the does not work side of energy, from maybe being a little more critical or a little more complaining, maybe having a solution and being like, oh, why won't you just do it right? Can you do it the right way, please? Anyone familiar with that tone? Yeah, somehow guys don't like to receive that tone. I don't really know why. I mean, I love it when people talk to me like that, don't you? Don't you love when like your kids come to you like, oh, this is so wrong. Why are you doing it all wrong? Get it right, mom. Okay, so maybe nobody in the world really likes to being talked to like that, but yeah, we're human, and so that's how things tend to come out when we're unconscious to it, right? But see if you can be honest with yourself and come up with a time when you felt when you were kind of a little bit of that energy and feeling kind of just a little frustrated and complaining and criticizing and like, oh man, they're like just not doing it right and I want to fix it. Do you have a time, and do you want to put, like, it might be helpful if you have a specific example. If you're comfortable with writing it in the chat, then I can play with that and reference that as I kind of go through in my examples. So see what you think there. Oh, yeah. Bring it to mind, write it in the chat. Okay, so we're going to start as you write that down. Let's keep sharing. So we're going to look at, as you bring that moment back to mind, and I'm going to continue, let's see here. I want to use the one, do this all the time, but the one that keeps coming to mind continues to be the kitchen stuff. Man, kitchen stuff really gets me. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, Alana, I hear you. When you gave away your spot, like place you were staying, your belongings, all of that. Yeah. Eventually surrendering a lot there. And is there maybe a specific moment? So it's kind of like the whole situation, but let's just continue dialing down into if you come up with like a specific conversation, a specific argument maybe you had along the way of that. Yeah. And Isabel says, kitchen stuff comes up for me too. Cleaning the house, cooking. We do so much, don't we? Just to like make sure everyone stays alive. Just acknowledging and honoring how much mamas do, how much women do, oftentimes to just keep the house running. And especially with kids, my kids right now at ages 7 and 4, man, I feel like their desires for what they want to eat change daily. And if I don't put on the table something that they like, I get nothing but complaints back. And I'm like, I don't really want to cook food for you guys. Like, this is not very fun for me. I keep trying to do like different recipes or do this, but no, like I put some chili powder in and that's too spicy for my daughter. It's not at all spicy, but the flavor of it tastes as if it would have spice. And so, it's too spicy for my 4-year-old. So now I've got to do something different for her and just make some potatoes. It just feels like, yeah, it's a lot and it's not appreciated. Totally get that, Isabel. All right, so we can play with that one. Okay, so let's look at when you think about that argument, that moment, the most recent or kind of just like an example one of that complaint that you have in conversation. What is the emotion you're feeling when you think about that? Feeling angry or frustrated? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and Alana's saying a male plumber leaving me a mess. Oh, and a plumber demanding his agreement to have windows. Not sure what that means exactly, but not agreeable. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure in that situation, Alana, but so long as you've got it clear in your head, just remembering, most important part is you remembering how you felt in that moment. Emotional shock, it's not right. Yeah, and Isabel is saying it's feeling angry, unappreciated, unvalued, not supported in all ways. Oh, on it was drama. Yes, totally. Okay, great. That is exactly how I feel often as well. Angry. And you know that feeling when you just get in your head and it's just like fuming? You're just steaming. It's like, yeah, overpowered, not respected. A lot I'm saying. So that emotion. Now, the game we're playing is let's continue going down the vulnerability layers, the emotional layers. So what's the emotion that's underneath that first emotion? Right. So as you get through and get out, maybe you're angry, you're frustrated. Yeah. Not supported. Totally. And I want to play with this a little bit too. See if you guys can help me and play with this. What is that feeling of not supported? This is a really common one for the feminine. So the feeling of not supported, that's abandoned. Oh, Alana, thank you. Thank you for bringing that one in. Yeah. Feeling abandoned. Hmm. Hmm. And often there's like a betrayal in that too, of like, and sort of a betrayal of our desires and our expectations. Like, but there also perhaps is what's underneath the feeling of being abandoned, and like in a feeling, maybe sadness, maybe when I feel abandoned, I often feel grief. Yeah. Like sometimes when I get really angry and I get really frustrated, I want to like pound pillows. But then when I get the anger frustration out, I just want to sob. I just am like, oh, like I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. I've like done so much, oftentimes feeling like it's never enough. Do everything. I was simultaneously last night, you know, making dinner, trying to finish getting everything done for this Playshop, trying to have the laundry done, getting the kids' lunches ready for the next day, paying attention to them when they're like, look, mommy, I made a thing and I want to show you. And okay, look at this, like all in the same 5-minute span, right? So we're just like holding so much a lot of times. It can feel really overwhelming and exhausting. And then underneath of that, I feel sadness. I feel unloved. Also, Alana, you put that here too. And as you're present to that emotion, what does that emotion, the grief, sadness, want to tell you is important to you, that it's holding the concern of for you? Yeah, Isabel saying resentment, big one, sadness, confusion. So how is that feeling trying to protect you? How is that feeling, even the feeling of like the feeling of the resentment, the feeling of protectiveness or anxiety? How is that trying to protect you from feeling more? Sometimes it's more of that, from feeling, gosh, what just came up for me is hopeless or despair. I'm like really going down to some of these denser emotions and feelings, right? And so the interesting thing is like higher up on the chart of the frequency of emotions. And the thing is, I feel like this is misunderstood a lot, because emotions do have certain frequencies that they resonate at, right? Love, like infinite love is like the highest frequency, and shame is the lowest frequency, and there is a scale. And sometimes people are like, oh, if you put him on a scale, that's making him bad. But that's only if you attribute the meaning that lower on the scale is bad. It's not bad, it's just lower. And so I look at it as it's more like temperature on an oven, right? A lower temperature is not worse than a high temperature. They're just different temperatures and they get different results and they have different natures to them. And so a negative emotion or a low frequency emotion, it's not bad, but it is more intense. It's harder to be with. And we often avoid it. We don't like it as much in our own experiential judgment that we often place on it, right? And so because of that, we want to be up here in light, and it's really easy to be up here. Even anger is a higher emotion. So we go to anger a lot because it's kind of actually one of the higher of the more dense emotions. But as we go down through, sometimes we'll find underneath that anger is that sadness and that grief. Maybe even there's some guilt. Like, oh, maybe I feel guilty that like I shouldn't be putting so much energy. For me, this has been a big one recently, because I'm still dancing with this. I shouldn't be putting so much energy into my business. I should just be being a mother. That's my main job, and I shouldn't be distracted from that. So maybe there's a sense of, so I have a sense of guilt sometimes underlying that. And the den system one, right? The den system emotion is shame. So getting down into that. Okay, so moving through that, what's really powerful in being able to really sit with yourself and be in your self-observation. So the first part that we're doing here is the baking of the cake. And that is noticing for yourself when a complaint comes up, and especially when it's like this habitual kind of one that you experience a lot, going into this self-observation, this compassionate inquiry within yourself of what's the emotion underneath the emotions, and just observing them with neutrality, with acceptance, just being able to be with what's there, being like, oh, I'm feeling angry and resentful right now. Why am I feeling angry and resentful right now? Oh, because I'm feeling like there's too much to do and not enough time. And I wish there were more of me. And I wish that he was not sitting on the couch playing with the kids and was over here washing the dishes so that I could finish making the dinner, so that I could do the next 5 things I need to do. And he's not doing enough because all he's doing is sitting on the couch watching the kids. Right. So like all this is going through my mind, pausing and going, okay, what am I really feeling under that? Well, I'm feeling some guilt that there's other things that I want to be doing that's maybe not really what this is the moment for, because I'm supposed to be done with work, but I didn't get done with work on time. And so now work is bleeding into my family time, and I feel guilty about that. So going underneath to that guilt and finding how that, like, what are the deeper levels there? And then noticing now with what you've had come up, resentment, sadness, confusion, is there anything else that's important to you about what you are feeling? And even any other deeper emotions you're now aware of. I was doing some research and looking around at some different things last night as I was preparing and wanting to share this. And I came across this article talking about being with negative feelings. And there's a lot of therapy modalities now that really help support being really with the wholeness of our negative feelings, right? So this article, I just wanted to quote because she said it so well, is she said, fighting, ignoring, or even trying to fix the surface symptom is like taking your car to a mechanic because the maintenance light is on. But instead of finding what's wrong and fixing it, he just turns off the maintenance light. And you're like, my brake lights are lit up. And he looks at it and he's just like, oh yeah, I can turn your brake lights, you know, not like the back brake lights, but like the malfunctioning light. Like I can turn that off. And you're like, okay, but do my brakes work? It's like, no, but I turn the light off. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. You're like, but it's telling me there's a problem, right? So our emotions really are just here to show us where there's something that's out of alignment for us, right? There's something that needs to be sat with, loved, looked at, maybe expressed. Because when negative emotions are fully suppressed, they will find a means to express themselves in ways that would appear completely unrelated to you. For the negative feelings to change their role, we need to be able to heal the old wounds that they are protecting. And so things like IFS, internal family systems, EMDR, there's a lot of these like therapy modalities that are really about going in and rewiring the old memories and the old emotions and transmuting and like putting a new, reframing them in the body so that we can have so that the old wound is healed. And then the emotion doesn't need to come up. So with this, there's something that we can look at now. Now we take the cake out of the oven. And here's where we turn it upside down. And that is through reframing or finding the positive root. So what's something that you can find to appreciate or be grateful for in this memory, in why it is how it is? For example, maybe it's oftentimes I find, because we're doing this flipping thing, it's the mirror image of the negative feeling, right? So if I was feeling anxious that something's not going to be done right, and anxiety is also the mirror image, the care that I have, that everyone is taken care of and fed. We have good food and a clean house. That's important to me, right? And I can appreciate myself for my value that this is important to me. And so first finding the positive root for your own emotion. For example, I care about living in a clean house with dishes that are done. And I can validate and accept that in myself first. Okay, because this process is really powerful, but there's a few different ways in which there can be pitfalls that I see sometimes people arguing about and being like, oh, well, when you do this, this happens. And I'm like, well, then you didn't really do the process right. So the process fully is first your own observation and inquiry and getting down and really honoring your own feelings, right? This isn't about bypassing your negative feelings. This isn't about changing them. This is about first spending the time being with and loving and really feeling the feelings that are even deeper underneath the top surface level. Then, once you fully felt all of those feelings and honored yourself, thanks, Lana, and honoring yourself, then you're able to move through to the next place, which is finding the positive root and looking for it in a different way. So with that, we can find the positive root for your own emotion first. So first, all the work you do is within, observing yourself, finding what is your value that's really important to you in that moment and with that other person. And then once you found it for yourself, then you can look for the positive root in the other person. So, okay, the positive root in him, perhaps, is that he doesn't like, I put this, he is caring for being like my example yesterday. My husband is caring about spending time and bonding with the kids when they're home from school that he hasn't seen them all day, more than he's concerned about whether there's some dirty dishes in the sink. Because his value right now is in building the connection and the bond with the children, right? So instead of being, then I can expand my own perception of it. And instead of looking at it and going, oh, why is he not taking care of the dishes in the sink? And I can't finish making dinner right until the dishes get taken care of. That's his job. He's supposed to do that. What is he doing? I mean, like, he's spending some time on the couch, connecting and bonding with his children. I am so grateful he is such a good dad. I am so grateful that he's making the kids feel taken care of and giving them his presence while I'm over here doing a bunch of other things to support the family. I'm working on my workshop and I'm, making rice and I'm getting other things ready. And I'm so grateful that he's here, right? So I can take the place where I was feeling resentful for how he was not showing up for me and expand my kind of lens of that, open it back up and see what he is doing right now and the value that that is and that is bringing to our lives and to our family. If your partner is busy working, if they're tired and need to take some time to rejuvenate themselves, realizing that the masculine carries a lot of weight and really needs a lot of rest and downtime in order to replenish from the weight of the work and the doing and the tension that they hold in life has been a huge epiphany to me. Because I feel like I don't need rest in that same way. I'm not like always napping and taking breaks. And I'm like, what are you doing on the couch again? Like, there's so much to be done. Why are you get to take a break? I have so much to be done, right? But they're holding weight in a different way than we are, in a different cycle than the feminine is. And they need a different type of break and rest. And validating that and letting that be okay, that they take the breaks they need and they honor their body. And then also me honoring myself. And if I'm doing something that's out of alignment in my body, if I'm pushing through my exhaustion, if I'm forcing myself somehow, that's when I'm getting resentful. But it has nothing to do with my partner and what they're doing or not doing. It actually has everything to do with my own alignment and what I'm doing and where I'm doing it from within me. Am I doing it from my value of, wow, I'm so committed that my family has good food. I'm so committed that we live in a clean house that feels good to us to be in. And so the work that I'm doing is in service to my commitment that I make to myself for my own values of having a healthy food, having a clean house, of spending time with my kids and a long bedtime every night so I can bond with them when they're young. right? These are things that come up, and there's a tendency in my impatience to want to get resentful. But really, when I can come back and go, why am I doing these things though in the first place? And come back to the positive root of my value of them and find my why. Then I can find gratitude, and I can find a place where I'm doing it from an overflow of love and of service. Okay, so then this is the last part of this exercise. Well, breathe. Breathe when you find the positive root, and especially if you are in a moment of feeling triggered. If you're in a moment where you're just like, all the voices in your head are going on. You're starting to work through this process, going through the layers and really finding it in yourself, looking for the positive root, and then just breathing and seeing if you can bring even 5% more softness to your own body. Then share from your deepest layer of feelings that you identified during the cake baking, right? So this whole time you've been in your own process. You haven't said a word to anybody else, right? Then once you make it through and you've kind of gone through this whole cake baking, then you can say and express just what you're feeling. Maybe it's, I feel overwhelmed, unsupported, and anxious. Or I feel like it's overwhelming, even overwhelmed. Other little fun thing I learned is that when you put an ED on the end of emotions, overwhelmed, frustrated, it actually is subtly turning the blame back on the other person. It's their fault you feel that way. So it's overwhelming to me. I feel anxious. I feel frustration. Even compared to I feel frustrated is a way to even take more responsibility for your own feelings. So I feel frustration and anxiousness when I see dirty dishes piling up in the sink and I don't know who will do them or when they will get done. Or I feel like I'm going to have to get to them, and I really long for support and helping them being taken care of, but I don't know how to ask for it. And I feel like if I ask for it, you're going to get frustrated and resentful with me or be mad at me if I ask you to help me. So I don't even ask you to help me out. But really, it's creating a lot of anxiety and frustration inside of me because I don't know how to communicate this with you and I don't know how to share it with you. So it just stays stuck. Right? So sharing what you're feeling and from as much responsibility as you can get yourself to take at that moment in your communication. And then, and this is the hardest part, don't provide a solution. Don't do the next step that we are often taught to do, which is, and then be like, okay, what I need is for you to do this, and that'll fix it for me. Right? Don't provide the solution. Give him space, or her, whoever you're speaking with. Give your partner space to come up with their own answer. And if they're not coming up with an answer, instead of telling them what to do, say something like, I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to fix this. I'm open to any solutions you come up with. I just wanted you to know how I feel. Right? And then give them space and time to come up with a solution. Because if they're used to you telling them how to fix it for them, they might be waiting for you to tell them how to fix it for them because that's what they've been conditioned. That's just how your dynamic has always been, right? So they're not necessarily going to jump in, and because maybe in the past they'll feel like every other time I've come up with a solution, she hasn't liked it and has rejected me, and I don't want to be rejected in my solution I'm offering, so I just won't offer a solution. So that's where, yeah, Isabel, oh my God, I love that. Yeah, this is like changed so much for me in just all of these small micro ways in my relationship. Is to come to what am I feeling, work through my own shit first, and then just share them, and then just tell him, hey, I'm not going to come up with a solution. I actually, and this is hilarious that it's so backwards, but I feel really empowered from it, even though it sounds disempowering. And that is the power of saying, I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. There is a vulnerability and a softness. I don't know really how to fix this. I don't know how to tell you what I want to share with you in a way that you won't feel upset with me. I want to share with you and I don't know how. It's so powerful because that actually has them relax and open to be and be like, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing either. She doesn't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers, but gosh, it's so great to hear that she doesn't have all the answers. Maybe there's some space for me to come up with an answer. Right. And when you make that space through your willingness to offer your vulnerability of your I don't know, it makes the space for them to come up with an answer and to offer and say, okay, well, maybe what we can do is I can, this isn't something that has happened yet, haven't completed this conversation with my husband, but maybe in this kind of conversation, he could say, okay, well, what time do you start making dinner every night? I start making dinner at 5. Okay, then I'll just clean up whatever dishes have accumulated from the day and kids coming home from school at 4:30. So that way you can start with a clean kitchen when you make dinner. Would that help? That's a great answer. Thank you, babe. Oh my God, that would help me so much if I could walk into a clean kitchen at 5 o'clock and be ready to cook without feeling like I have to do 30 minutes of dinner when I only 30 minutes of dishes, when I only have 30 minutes to get dinner on the table. Like that stresses me out every day. And if I were able to just like walk into a clean kitchen, I would be so grateful. That would just make a world of difference for me. I love that solution. Thank you so much. Okay. How do you feel hearing that? How do you feel with that response? Do you feel in receiving what I was just sharing in this example? Like, oh yeah, like I would so much rather receive that than receive someone telling me, what I really want is for you to clean the dishes and do the thing, clean the dishes every day at 4:30. Like, please do that for me. Can you? Right? Or even in a nicer tone, still being given the solution and told what to do, you're like, oh, I feel like now like my mother is telling me and I just have to do what I'm told or I'll be in trouble and she'll be mad at me. Right? Whereas when I just made the space for him to come up with his own solution. Now, caveat to this, your partner will come up with solutions you would never dream of yourself, right? He might say, I'm going to pick up all the dishes and I'm just going to throw them in a trash bag so I can do them after dinner and get them out of your way. Or something equally ridiculous, right? Like the stuff that he comes up with, I'm like, that is totally not a solution I ever would have considered. And sometimes if I can allow myself to not be controlling and to take a step back, I'm like, okay, yeah, I see that could totally work. Let's give it a try. Never, and I just allow myself to laugh at it. And like, I never would have thought of that, babe. Great, let's try it. So that is the process for the complaint upside down cake. And that process, doing it on a daily basis in my relationship, has really helped me to shift into my own body, feelings, do my own self-observation and get present to myself, shift things in my own mind while validating my heart, my feelings, my resentments, my frustrations, validating them all in myself, receiving them in myself. And then going down into the deeper levels, transmuting them, and then being able to actually share what's important that's there for me to share with my partner in a way that they can receive, in a way where I am still surrendered and I am soft and I am loving and I am giving them the respect to come up with the solution to help improve how I feel. Right. And not that it's their job to improve how I feel, but that's the dance. Like the game that Brian plays is he does everything he can so that I feel relaxed, cared for, surrendered, open, trusting. Right. So that the game of feeling that is in my own head. However, the environment that I'm in, the energetics that I am in, the way that he shows up to support me, the actions that he takes and doesn't take go a long way towards creating a space where I can feel it. But the game of it ultimately does reside within my own autonomy and sovereignty and authority. and my own ability to be with my own feelings, to love my own feelings, to witness myself, and to let whatever I'm feeling be okay. All right, so completing that, there was one other exercise I wanted to do, a little journaling exercise, but I don't think we're going to have time to get to that today. There's so much that I want to get to. I feel like I could do these on a different topic every, like, yeah, I could do like 10 of them and keep going. There's so many different pieces to this. And so many different ways to play with it. But I'm just going to share with you what it is, and then you can take it on your own time if you'd like. It's a journaling exercise. So it's writing a letter to your inner feminine heart. What do you want to tell her? What is there for you to ask forgiveness for? To forgive her for? And what relationship are you committed to having with her going forward? I'm just going to put these questions in the chat so you can copy them if you want. And those are just prompts to get you started. Really just allow your heart to lead. But it's opening up this dialogue with your feminine energy, with your feminine heart. Telling her anything maybe that she didn't hear from her parents. Perhaps if she didn't have a father in her life that was telling her that she was cared for and protected and provided for and loved, and he had her back and would support her unconditionally no matter what. Maybe she needs to hear that from you. Right? Whether we had our father in our life or not, oftentimes they were humans. And not, a lot of our inner child work is giving ourselves what we need now and what we always longed for and needed to hear and to receive from our parents that they weren't in a place in their lives or present in our lives to offer to us. So that's one. And then the other is then to do it the other way and perhaps then receive a response. And spend, I had about budgeted maybe like 5 minutes on journaling, but as long as you wanted. And then take another piece of paper and journal her response back to you. Let your channel open and just let yourself feel and receive what she wants to tell you. Maybe what she wants to ask your forgiveness for, or ask for your apology for. And what relationship she's committed to having with you going forward. If she's willing to allow herself to be loved, to be nurtured, allow herself to be seen. For a long time, my feminine heart was like hiding in the corner of my heart. And I would have conversations with my husband, and my masculine warrior would stand and he would like receive messages from my feminine heart and then translate them to Ryan through my masculine. And Brian's like, you're communicating with me and you're masculine. And I was like, you know what? I don't think my feminine feels so unsafe. She doesn't even want to talk. She doesn't even feel safe communicating with you. I feel like I have to translate through my masculine warrior that's protecting her still, right? So what does your feminine heart need so that she feels safe communicating with you and communicating with your partner, communicating in the world, because our feminine communication is revealing our hearts, revealing her feelings. It's very vulnerable. You feel very scary at first. But as we practice, we start to find our strength and our vulnerability. We start to realize that, oh, if I love me and I've got my back and I'm protecting and loving my feminine heart no matter what, it doesn't matter what anyone else says in response. They can't hurt me. There's nothing to be scared of. They just say what they say. If I'm not attached to an agenda or an outcome, what is there to be anxious about? Right? So that is an exercise that I encourage you to take and do in your own time, and would love if you do so. If you want to send me a message, let me know how that goes for you and if anything comes through in that I think that would be super fun. Okay, so as we get ready to complete here, I want to thank you so much for your presence, for your participation, for your energy and your love. I said in my invitation that I was going to offer a bonus and a surprise. So I just want to share that with you really quick before we end here. So I am going to be launching my new program, and it's called Ignite Your Feminine Magic. Feeling all about the ignition these days and all about the feminine energy coming through and really connecting that in with the spiritual energy and really continuing to do more to create this space of safety for our feminine hearts to be able to reveal themselves in sisterhood, in our with our parents, with our communities, and with our partners. And so that is really where my heart is so lit up right now, is to be sharing these codes, because these have made such a huge difference in my life and relationship. And I really am passionate about being able, like every woman, being able to have access to this, because I think it can so change the course of your relationship. It can keep relationships more healthy, marriages together, families together. And I'm really passionate about the children, to be honest. I want to do it for you, but I also often am so passionate about the children. And being a child of divorce myself and having gone through some really difficult times when my parents split up, and the effect that had on me long term, and that being such a predominant thing, common thing in our life. And I really honor every person's journey, and being together isn't necessarily the right thing. However, everything that we can do to create harmonious communication and loving communication in whatever format our relationship takes, that can only benefit ourselves, our partners, our children, and the world. So really learning the communication techniques, learning how to be in your feminine heart is so powerful for yourself and for your life and for your relationships. There's so much I've learned on this, and there's a lot that I want to share that I'm going over today and I couldn't even fit in. So I think maybe the fastest thing here is I'll just want to share the program with you, if I may. I'm so excited. I just finished creating all of this yesterday. Like I said, okay, I'm just going to share my page and just share my screen with you here really quick, and the bonus. So, okay. Here we go. All right, so Ignite Your Feminine Magic. Fun little graphic I created of all of the women dancing with flames coming out of your hands. This is a 4-week program to connect, heal, embrace, and express your feminine energy. So we're going to start next week, May 22nd. It's going to go every Wednesday. We're going to meet together. Here's the information. This is a poem that came through me a few days ago when I was really feeling into who I want to speak with and work with and why, and really feeling into my feminine heart. I sat down to write a bullet point list of all of the things that this program will provide. And then I laughed at myself and I'm like, that's so much. That's not how I want to communicate this. Well, how do I want to communicate this? How does my heart? And I asked her, and she had this like sweet poem that came through. I was like, so, that's the feminine energy that I'm talking about here. I have to remind myself always, come back to my heart, express myself through what I feel. So if you are feeling burned out, frustrated, resentful, annoyed with your partner, walls around your heart, feeling unable to really have close, loving, intimate communication with your partner or with people in your life, feeling isolated or alone, if you want to feel safe to relax in your body and in your heart and express your feelings, feeling disconnected from your womb and numb to your feelings, and you're desiring loving support and sisterhood, so you can really integrate this into your own life real time. Because I can share a lot of this in a one-time play shop with you, but then afterwards, as it goes on, I want to be there to be able to support you, to answer your questions, for you to come back and say, okay, I tried this with my partner tonight, and this is what happened, and this is what they said. And I was like, and I freaked out. I didn't know what to do. And I got frustrated and I shut up and I closed down and I said, fine, we'll talk about it later. And I walked away. And then I'm going to bring it to the group and I'm going to send it and I'm going to ask, what should I do in this situation? How can I approach this from a feminine perspective? And so being able to get that feedback real time over the course of the month is like so invaluable. So what we're going to do in this program, we're going to go week 1 is going to be connecting to your feminine magic. So we're going to do more movement, somatics, breath work. We did a little teaser today. We're going to go deeper into that, specifically in that session. Week 2 is heal your feminine magic. This session is featuring my soul sister, Isabel Nantaba, who is here today. And perhaps I'm going to give you a little heads up if you want to come off Zoom here in just a moment when I finish this little overview and share a little bit. I would love for you to do that if you're in a time to do so. I know you probably need, well, actually, I need to leave soon to pick up the kids. But she is an angelic Reiki master. She's a womb healer, an ancestral healer, and she's going to be taking us into a womb and ancestral healing to heal your feminine energy. This felt so important to me when it came through, and I have been like in this beautiful friendship and co-creation, collaboration energy with Isabel these last weeks. Honestly, Isabel, it was a lot of our sharing that inspired me to do this Playshop and this program. So thank you so much for the channel you are in the world, because you brought through so many codes. Like you held this, you were the space for so many codes to come through me and get shared to you that I was like, wow, I want to share this with you and more and deeper and so many other women. So thank you for who you are. And so that's why I was so excited and inspired to invite you to co-create with me in this program and to hold this space and be to show up and give your magic, which is beyond the scope of my own. I haven't studied womb healing and ancestral healing in depth. And so I'm really excited for you to bring the energy codes that you have and share this with us on week 2. Then week 3 is embrace your feminine magic. And so we're going to be really going through more of the self-love, the forgiveness, the compassion, really embracing your feminine. Perhaps we'll complete the journaling exercise in that week, sharing it with each other, and really bringing the love and the support to our hearts. Then week 4 is express your feminine magic. And we're going to focus on more communication techniques like that little upside down cake that I talked about today, but also some other ways of communicating and techniques that can really make a difference in your relationships. And also being in your sensuality and your creativity practices, connecting to the ways that our own feminine magic wants to express through us and our sacral chakra. So that is the journey that will be going on. It's a targeted 4-week. It's not like going to be like months and months and months. We're just going to be doing this really specifically focusing on each of these aspects each week. But it's going to be such a supercharge for your life, for your feminine energy, for being able to really have the time, the sisterhood, and the focused support to connect to all of these different pieces and open your heart. Ultimately, really, it's just supporting you and opening your heart. So we will have, we're going to meet each Wednesday. So this time frame like this, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for 4 weeks. There will be replays available. I'll be recording it like this and then posting it in our group so that you can watch the replay if you can't stay for the whole thing or whatnot. But like this, I love to be interactive with you. So if it's possible to be live, that'd be great. And then sisterhood and support. We'll have a Telegram group that we'll be sharing in all throughout the week as you integrate. So that's what I was saying. You can just go there and right when something happens, when you're feeling all steamed up in your head from something happening, like instead of unloading in your partner, you can go and just write it or share a voice memo in the chat and be witnessed and felt and get some feedback and support and perhaps some help in opening up, some coaching and how you can maybe move through all those different emotions, find what's underneath there and express that from your heart and your life. So this is where the deepest magic happens. So as I was saying, this is Isabel and her background here. She's just such an absolute beautiful beam of light. And then the bonuses. I just want to get onto this before I complete here. So I was jam packing this over the last couple of days as much as I can offer you, just really wanting to pour myself and my offerings in for you. So we're going to be offering a bonus group Reiki session on May 23rd at 11 a.m. to clear your energy field as we begin the program. And because we're going to be starting on the full moon, so I thought, okay, let's do a full moon Reiki session. So that's Thursday. So our first session's on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we'll have a group Reiki session. Then I'm also, this is really the surprise bonus, because this is only available for the Playshop registrants. That's a free one-on-one essence activation session with me that you can use anytime during the program. So we can start off in the beginning, or you can save it for during the month when you're like, okay, I really just hit a wall around this and I want some additional individual support. So yeah, that's an opportunity to be one-on-one. So it's less lecture style, and we're really going to be deeply engaging and moving through whatever needs to be opened up for you so that we can release that block, whatever is stuck there, and move through to the next level of your expansion and your feminine energy. So I'm super excited about that bonus. And then bonus 3 is 3 downloadable hypnosis meditations on the topics of empowerment, abundance, and love. So these were professionally produced by my previous partner, actually. But I wrote and recorded them, and we utilize hypnosis techniques and binaural beats in them. So they're so powerful at reprogramming your subconscious mind to align with your body, mind, and heart with empowering beliefs. So I also have a VIP upgrade available for 2 people if you would like. That is, if you're really feeling ready to go all in on your journey of feminine awakening and you want my ongoing support, coaching, one-on-one sessions every week through the program, along with our own private chat where I can really focus specifically on supporting you in implementing, integrating, and embodying all of these practices and energy in your life. So that also comes with additional bonuses. I've done 4 other play shops like this: Magic of Desire, Magic of Dreams, Magnetizing Miracles, and Flavors of the Feminine. So I'm going to include those. Those are usually like $111 as a bundle, but I'm going to be including that. And then also additional, so they'll have 7 of the downloadable hypnosis meditations to use on additional topics. Peace, immune system boosting was one of them because I created it during COVID. There's several other topics. So you'll receive all of those meditations as well if you want a VIP. So that is the program that I am creating. The investment I am offering for a really, really accessible amount, because I'm really wanting this to get out as much as possible. I want to share all of this, and I really feel like it has the power to really revolutionize women's lives and relationships. So pull this up here. The program full price is $599, and with all of the bonuses, the value is nearly $1,000. But for right now, it is a fast action price until Saturday of $399, and an additional bonus of an additional $111 off for all of the Playshop participants and registrants. So that brings it down to $288. So nearly $1,000 of value of the program, and honestly probably more, but that's where I'm putting it at right now. And yeah, available for just a couple $100. So insane, totally a steal. I really want my soul sisters and women that I've been working with and talking to about all of this stuff. I want for you to be able to come and join me and have the experience of being in a container of sisters. This has changed my life. The women that showed up here, I met in these containers. The women that are still the closest to me in my life, many of them have come from the sisterhood that we created inside of these group containers. And the quality of the energy, the focus, what comes through from me as well, and what I share inside of these is a whole different level than what I offer and bring on a casual or a friend-based level. So really wanting for you to have the ability and the affordability to be able to access this for yourself and experience this, and really a stand that you are able to embody this and make these changes in your own life. So the VIP price is full price of $16.99, including the program and the VIP. With all the bonuses, it's over $2,000. And the fast action price for the program and the one-on-one VIP is $9.98. So that is like still such a deal. I think at checkout, it's like the $288 plus $599. So yeah, that's if you're interested in the VIP. So you can just click if you would like to go forward and you want to go ahead and join the program, then you just click any of these buttons here. I'm a full body yes. This is just a little bit more about me, some of the people that I've worked with. You can put your name, first, last name, and email here, and that'll take you to a page to do the payment and the checkout. All right, and then you'll be receiving emails with information on how to get started with the program and our session that we are starting next week. So that is the Ignite Your Feminine Magic program. Thank you for bearing with me and being with me here as I shared it with you. Do you have any questions? Is there anything that I can help you with, answer you with you? I want to see, oh, Alana sending me all the emojis, all the hearts, all the loves, amazing. Thank you, sister. Would so love to play with you and dance with you. And also, oh yeah, oh, the code. Yes, there is a code for you to use when you go to the second page in the payment, because you were here on the Playshop. The code is Playshop. So if you put that word Playshop in the coupon code, that'll get you the additional $111 discount for being here with me in this Playshop today, getting a head start, receiving all of this wisdom and all these codes, all these practices, and the energy healing that we started with. So, all right, Isabel says, thank you so much. This was amazing. Thank you, sister. Are you available now to just come on video and off of mute and say hello for just a minute, just so people can feel you, feel your energy really quick here? Yeah.
Hi. How are you?
Good. Oh my gosh. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for this. Like I received so much. Oh my goodness. Like the exercises, the journal prompts. I'm like, so very amazing, good shares and tips that can really support, I feel like all relationship, not just like, husband and wife and whatever relationship, but I think even like if it comes to sibling, because you got a brother, you still, communicating. And so I really appreciate that. And it's nice to see everyone that got on the call. I'm so excited for next week. I do set the intention that everyone is on the live calls so that we can really get to exchange, share the energy and receive, and also just like create magic together and just experience all the beautiful things. Once again, thank you so much. I appreciate you and everyone who's been here today for coming with an open heart, an open mind, and just like receiving all the love and all the beautiful things from Mayumi. Once again, thank you.
Thank you so much, Isabel. Thank you for such your kind and generous words. Let's see if I can figure out spotlight off. And yeah, so that's Isabel, and she's going to be here with us in the program. She's going to be doing the whole program along with us, and she'll also be leading week 2, at least a portion of it, and offering her womb healing. Highly recommend you check her out. Let's see, it's Elevate with Isabel, right? ISABEL is your Instagram. Right. So if you want to find her and follow her, she offers just like beautiful Reiki healings and womb healings and energy, even just on her Instagram so generously. And her message, like I just literally the moment we met, which was not too long ago, like a month ago, we met and I was like, whoa, I know this is a soul sister. You know how you just know when you know? And since then, we've just become so close. And I'm really, really grateful for you, and such a big supporter for you as well. And really want everyone to know who you are and be able to receive of your unique and magical codes and healing. It's so powerful. You've got such a beautiful high vibration. I'm so grateful for you. So yeah, definitely want to share you with my community and let them get to know you and receive from you. So grateful for that. So yay. All right. Thank you for coming on. Okay, friends. All right. So thank you for bearing with me. We started a little late with the technical difficulties and we went a little bit over time. So thank you so much for bearing with me here till the end. Let's take a deep breath together. Whew. This was a lot. Feel like I'm feeling that energy of like my head feeling really full of just like, whew, my third eye's been open and so much pouring through me, holding this space, talking. It's been a while since I've done this. So like the whole creating and talking for a whole 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Oh, I'm feeling that, but I feel lit and I feel so expanded. And yeah, if you just want to write in the chat, actually, I would love to just receive how you are feeling right now after we went through everything and that we did today. I hope that all of this is supportive for you and integrates, and you're able, as Isabel was saying, it's not just about your partner. It also is about your, like, this changed my relationship with my stepfather and my dad. This changed my relationship with men in my life, with guy friends, like just understanding where they're coming from and their masculine energy and not expecting them to be hairy women. That like, why aren't you just like, why aren't you responding like my soul sisters do? It's like, well, they're not going to. And so understanding who they are and what they really love and appreciate in me. Like I was like, oh, you don't want me to fix things? Like mind blown. I thought you wanted me to make it easy and just give you the answers. And that would be the best. Like I really thought that most of my life, and then it didn't work. So then when I discovered that that's not actually what they're looking for and desiring, and they just want to be respected for their ability to come up with solutions that make me happy, I'm like, oh, okay, so I can just lay back here and be like, I don't know what the answer is. This is how I feel, and let you bring it. And life is filled with so much more ease and love and softness, and my dynamics with everyone now, even my mom, because my mom's got a lot of masculine energy. So even with my mom, I find sometimes I let her hold the masculine pole and I don't fight her for it. I'm like, oh, it's way better. So play with this, integrate it. Let me know how it goes. Let me know how your letter goes. I would love a message and to hear how this continues to work for you. So thank you so much. Wherever you are, let's just go ahead and bring your voice into it and just end with an Om. I just love to be able to sound and breathe together. So take a deep inhale in. Feeling it with an Om, completing and closing the Reiki energy with so much gratitude and thanks for all of our spirit family that's always present with us, and the angels, all the Reiki energy. So grateful for its support today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May it all be integrated for the highest and best for all. Aho, and so it is. Thank you. I love you, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Talk to you soon. Ciao.